What if I told you that your entire life has been a lie? That every single thing that you're perceiving to be reality is actually an illusion? Now, before you roll your eyes at me thinking that this is another love and light, law of attraction, manifest your reality, this is deeper. Science has actually proven that reality as we know it is in fact an illusion. And if reality is an illusion, why are you currently stuck in a life that you don't even like? You almost want to defend yourself and defend the life that you've lived because you want me to understand that your problems are in fact real. They are. Your problems are real. Pain is real. Struggle is real. Problems are real. Your bills are real. Once you click off this video, you still have to pay those bills. You still have to deal with that heartbreak. You still have to deal with life when life is lifing. So if reality is an illusion, then why are you stuck in a life that you don't even like? There's 8 billion people in the world, but we are not all living the same lives because we don't all have the same blueprint of what we consider to be true. So most of the times when you're saying that, oh no, this is just how life is, actually no, that is just how life is for you, because we are not all living in the same world. We have created individual worlds for ourselves and then we got stuck in those worlds. And so in this video, I'm first of all going to prove to you that reality is in fact an illusion from a neuroscience perspective, a quantum physics perspective, and a metaphysics perspective. And then once I lay down the foundation of reality being an illusion, I'm going to explain to you in great detail how you created the illusion and how you got stuck in it. And then finally, I will show you how to actually get yourself out of that illusion, how to start seeing beyond the illusion so that you can get into your dream reality. Because let's all be honest, there's a future version of yourself that you want to be, there's things that you want to have, and from where you're currently standing, it literally looks impossible. So by the end of this video, I'm not only going to prove to you that the life that you want is not only attainable, but actually it's inevitable if you just pay attention. Get your notebooks out and let's get into the video. Neuroscience is the study of the nervous system, particularly the brain. There's something in your brain called the reticular activating system. I think the best way I can describe the reticular activating system, it's like a Google search. When you go on Google and you type in road accidents that have happened today, Google will filter out everything else that has happened today and it will only show you the road accidents that have happened today. However, so many people got to their destination. You are probably also traveling, but you got to your destination. But that's not going to be covered. Why? Because the keyword that you put in was accidents that happened today. And that is how your reticular activating system works. Now, what the reticular activating system is searching is your beliefs, your expectations, and the things that you focus on. So for example, if you consider yourself to be an unlovable person, your brain will quite literally filter out everyone that has ever been kind to you, all the nice and amazing people around you, and it will only show you a tiny little fraction of the people that will prove to you that you are in fact unlovable. The reticular activating system receives millions of data from the outside world per second, from your senses, smells, colors, noises, sounds, and every single second your brain is receiving millions of bits of data. And guess what? Your brain only has the capacity to process 40 to 50 bits of data per second. Not 40%, just 40. 40 out of millions of bits of data per second. So if your brain is only processing 40 bits of data and you're receiving millions of bits of data per second, how much information are you losing? Nature has a very effective way of being, and that includes the way our bodies work, the way our brains work. If your brain was allowing you to process all that data, like millions of data every single second, you would crash. You would actually crash. Like, that would be too much. And so because your brain needs to be effective, the one goal that your brain has is to keep you safe. Your brain doesn't care about all the books that you've been reading, about how much you want to improve yourself and how much you have all these goals and all these habits that you want to start. Your brain doesn't give a damn. It only cares about keeping you safe. And as long as your brain continues to think that you're in danger of being abandoned, you're in danger of being embarrassed, you're any type of danger, your brain is always going to continue to keep you safe. Let's go deeper. Let's actually now go into quantum physics. So quantum physics is the study of matter and energy at its most fundamental level. There's something called the observer effect. And if you're not new to manifestation content, spirituality content, I'm pretty sure you've come across quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum manifestation. Subatomic particles like photons and electrons don't exist as a single Like, because when you think of a particle, you'd think that a particle would be like a tiny, tiny little ball, right? And you'd think that the particles exist as the tiny little balls. But actually, scientists observe that subatomic particles don't exist as a single ball. They exist as waves of infinite possibilities. And in quantum physics, this is referred to as superposition. And once a particle is observed or measured, it collapses into a single reality, as if that particle knows that it's being observed. At this exact moment, there is a version of you that has every single thing that you've ever dreamed of. There's a version of you that is a billionaire. There's a version of you that is single. There's a version of you that is a bum and a loser. There's a version of you that is a teacher. There's a version of you that is a doctor. There's a version of you that is unemployed. There's a version of you that is the president. There's infinite versions of you existing at the same time. Now, this doesn't mean that your thoughts instantly make the atoms rearrange themselves like magic. What it means is, so just like the scientists who are observing those particles, you are the observer of your reality. So by focusing on certain possibilities and not others, you collapse the wave of potential into the experience that you live. I think the best example that I can use to explain this is the short men syndrome. Have you ever noticed how short men tend to interpret everything as an insult? They just have so much rage, and they just have so much anger to the world. And even when you're not talking about how short they are, they somehow seem to think that you're always insulting them, and that's why they have so much anger and rage with them. If they don't get a job, they're like, oh, it's because I'm short. If they don't get a girl, it's because I'm short. If they don't get any, it's because I'm short. You're like, bruh, nobody is thinking about how short you are apart from you. Now, let's go even deeper into metaphysics, which is actually my favorite part. Metaphysics is the study of reality and existence. So from a metaphysics standpoint, you are the universe experiencing itself. In other words, you are God experiencing itself. You are God wearing a mask. You are God afraid. Now, before all the religious people come and attack me, God is not a human being. God doesn't have a gender. God is infinite intelligence, and you are infinite intelligence experiencing itself. You are infinite intelligence wearing a mask. And why are you wearing a mask? Because when you came on planet Earth, your consciousness had to be lowered so that you can have an authentic human experience. Metaphysics describes you as the creator of your own reality. Because we are currently living in the physical realm, we are in the 3D world, we fall into the illusion of separation. We think that we are separate from God. A lot of religions conceptualize God as a being that is outside of us, and a being that we're going to experience once we go to heaven, which a lot of religions conceptualize to be a place. Heaven is not a place. Heaven is a state of mind. Even Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you. Literally, the kingdom of God is within you because God lives within you. And therefore, you are the one who is constantly creating your reality. Life is not happening to you. Life is happening through you. So you set the bar for how good your life can get or how bad your life can get. This is why it is stupid to argue with people about their beliefs, because whatever you believe, you will always be proven right. I am not religious. I deconstructed religion for myself a long time ago, and I just don't subscribe to religion. I believe in God, but not in the way that religion talks about God. You're allowed to conceptualize God in whichever way you want to, as long as the way you're conceptualizing God helps you. If the way you're conceptualizing God benefits you, good for you. Even people who are religious are not worshiping the same God. The God of white people is very different from the God of black people. The God of black people is always thought to be a very stingy, jealous, envious father. He punishes you, he holds grudges, and he's described to almost have a humiliation kink. It's like he enjoys torturing his own people. For him to even just answer a little prayer, you have to beg that God. But when you go to white churches, God is described as very loving, very peaceful, very unlimited, and always loving and always forgiving and all of that. But the God of the black people, oh, he will take you through the mad just to show you who he is. You could call yourself Christians and you're still not worshiping the same God. And so from a metaphysics perspective, creation doesn't come from forcing or begging or being moral enough to deserve something. It comes from aligning with the version of you that is God. If you are the universe experiencing itself, if you are God experiencing itself, there is a version that lives within you that is unlimited, that is infinite, that knows the answers to everything. As long as you continue to think that you are separated from God, you're separated from the ultimate creator, then you're falling for the illusion of reality. Because because you end up thinking that God is outside of you, and so you have to beg and do so much to be perceived as worthy, instead of knowing that you are the creator because you are the universe experiencing itself. All you need to do is align with the version of you that is already God, and the answers are going to come to you from your intuition. Your intuition is your inner guidance. So when you get a nudge to do something and you are aligned with the infinite intelligence inside of you, then those nudges are actually going to lead you to the right thing. They're going to lead you to the reality that you want to create. We, as the physical human beings, we are limited. We have a birthday and then we also have a death day. So the physical vessel is limited, but the God consciousness within you, that is unlimited. And a good example of somebody who understood this was Jesus. Jesus understood that he was equal to God. I have studied the Bible in and out. In fact, the more I studied the Bible and really understood it, the less religious I became. Until you can understand the esoteric meaning of the verses in the Bible, you will continue to be controlled by religion. Whether you're atheist, a Christian, a Buddhist, a Muslim, spiritual, it doesn't matter. You can experience divine intelligence, infinite intelligence, as long as you are aware that you're not separate from it. Religion doesn't connect you to God. What connects you to God is your awareness that God lives within you. Because there's a part of the Bible that says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." The literal meaning of that is that if you depend on God, then you will always be provided for or whatever. But the esoteric meaning of that is the Lord is your shepherd, meaning that if you are the sheep and the Lord is your shepherd, the shepherd is always with the sheep and the sheep is never separated from the flock. If the Lord is guiding you, meaning inner guidance, intuition that comes from you aligning with the God within, then you shall never want. Wanting means separation. Wanting means not having. Wanting means lacking. If you are aligned with the God in you, then you will never lack. And why will you not lack? Because you are one with God. And God is infinite. God is infinitely abundant. Not because God will literally give you things, but because your oneness with God connects you with every single thing that you want. God has everything. And so if you are one with God, then it's not about creating something that doesn't exist. It's about knowing that you already have that. Jesus was able to perform miracles, and I'm saying miracles because they were not actually miracles. They were just a materialization of his inner alignment with the God within, because he didn't doubt that he was one with God. He knew that he could perform miracles that only God could do because he was one with God, and not because he was blasphemous. The servant is not above the master, but the servant can do the same things that the master can. You can do the same things that God can do. Why? Because you are one with God. The only thing that your desire wants you to do is to align with the version of yourself that already has that. And when you understand that you are one with God, then you don't need anything. You are one with God. That person that you look at and you consider a bum, even they are one with God. The billionaire that is killing children in Africa, even that guy is one with God. We are all versions of God wearing a mask. And the mask that we wear is what limits us. But if reality is really an illusion, then why are you still broke? Why are you still feeling unlovable? Why are you still going through a heartbreak? Why are you still being rejected? Honestly, it's very simple. You fall for the illusion of reality because there is evidence. When you look around, you can pinpoint to the people that have made you feel unlovable. You can tell me that this is the woman who traumatized me when I was young. You can show me your bank account and you will tell me that, Chelsea, you're saying reality is an illusion, but look at my bank account. The reason why you're falling for the illusion is because there is evidence. All these things sound nice to know when you're not going through real issues, but when you're actually going through real problems, it feels like a lot of crap, honestly. The reason why you're still falling for the illusion of reality is because there is evidence. There are people, there are circumstances, there are situations that have proven to you that this is in fact real. You have been conditioned to only perceive one plane of existence, and that is the physical plane. The 3D world. You've been conditioned to only believe in what you see. If you can touch this comb and comb your hair, you say this is a comb. This is a remote, you can touch it, you can feel it. There are 3 different planes of existence. There's the spiritual plane, which is the essence realm, and then there's the mental plane, which is the causal realm, and then there's a physical plane, which is the effect realm. You are not aware that the spiritual realm and the mental realm is where everything starts from before it can come here. Before this MacBook existed, it was just an idea in somebody's head. It has to start from the causal realm, from the mental plane. And as I have proven to you from all those different perspectives, the current life that you have is a reflection of your beliefs. And so what you're currently experiencing as your reality is simply a reflection of your past beliefs. And now, a practical map to escape the current illusion of reality that you're in. I don't know how many steps I'm actually going to include in here, but let's just go step by step. So step 1, I need you to radically acknowledge the place that you're in at the moment. I need you to look at your life and acknowledge where you are. Acknowledge that you feel stuck. Acknowledge how it's making you feel. I need you to sit with your shit. A lot of manifestation teachers actually don't cover this because they all jump into spiritual bypassing. Most manifestation coaches will tell you to ignore reality. If you don't take anything from this video, please take this. Do not ignore your reality, because to ignore something means to act like it doesn't exist. But acting like something doesn't exist doesn't stop it from existing. To radically look at your life at the moment and be like, okay, this situation actually sucks. I have found myself in this situation and I don't like it. I feel sad at the moment. I'm not happy with my current life. Sit in that shit. And the reason why I actually want you to do this is I recently read a book called The Magician's Way, which, by the way, highly recommend. Mark was being taught how to play golf by a guy called Steve. And Steve said to him, before you can do anything, acknowledge that you don't think you can do this. Acknowledge that you don't think you can do it. Because if you can just acknowledge your current situation, then you can stop spending so much energy trying to suppress the fact that you're feeling what you're feeling. Just thinking positively doesn't stop your emotions from spiraling out of control. You're going to be spending so much energy trying to suppress those emotions because you want to be positive so bad. And when you're spending so much energy trying to suppress your emotions, then you don't have enough energy to actually do something about it. And then the second step, notice that this is simply a reflection of the past. What you're currently seeing as your reality is not what's happening right now. The physical plane is the effect realm. Remember the analogy about the laptop. Before we got this laptop, it was an idea in somebody's head. What you're seeing right now, it's simply an echo from the past. Once you start making the changes that I'm going to show you, there will be a period of time that nothing is going to change. And I want you to continue to see this as simply an illusion. If what you're seeing at the moment is just your past crystallized into matter, then why would you continue basing your future of something that is an echo of the past? Don't fall for the illusion that nothing is changing. Then step 3, redirect your energy into the reality that you would prefer. So if at the moment what you're observing is how much you don't have enough money, there are no opportunities and nothing is working out for you, I need you to put all your focus and concentration on what you would prefer to happen instead. Now that you've acknowledged what is going on and you acknowledge that it's just an illusion, then I want you to redirect your energy, all your energy and concentration on the reality that you would prefer to happen. So if you're currently in debt, what would you prefer to happen? You would prefer to have more than enough money to cover your debt and to live comfortably. So I need you to start focusing all your concentration on that. And the practical ways to do this is start noticing the abundance that is around you. You have food, you have shelter, you probably have love in your life. There is something in your life that is going right. There's something in your life that you can pinpoint and say, okay, this is not that bad. Things that you already have at the moment and you're taking for granted. And then another practical way is to surround yourself with people who are living the kind of reality that you're living. And this includes the content that you're consuming. If you're not in a place where you can maybe actually have friends who are living the kind of life that you want, then make sure you are intentional about the content you're consuming. I need you to start normalizing your desired reality. I want you to normalize it so much so that you start seeing it as ordinary as the current life you're living. Because at the moment, you are definitely in one way or another pedestalizing your dream reality. You're looking at it like, oh my gosh, when I get it, it's gonna be fireworks. And if you actually pay attention to people who have made so much money, they always say that once they made the money, it felt empty. It felt like this is it. And you sort of become desensitized to the whole idea. Normalize your dream reality. Let it become so ordinary. The life that you're living right now, there is a version of you that dreamt of that life so bad. The younger version of me, the 9-year-old version of me, oh my God, if she knew how nice of a bedroom we have right now, she would be screaming. But when I look at my room right now, it's just like, yeah, like whatever. I never come into my room thinking, oh my gosh, wow, And yet there was a version of me that would die for this room. But I have it now and it's very ordinary to me. And that is the exact same thing that's going to happen once you get what you want. Normalize it before you get it. As long as you continue seeing your desired reality as something that is above you, it will continue to be above you. Is it step 4? I'm not even sure what step we are at the moment. But next step is to learn the difference between fear and intuition. When you start shifting your concentration and focusing on what you would prefer to happen, focusing on your dream reality and all of that, you're going to start receiving different impulses, like different mental nudges. You will get an idea to do something. You will feel like, oh, maybe I should go this way instead of that way. Oh, maybe I should speak to that person. Maybe I should call my friend. Maybe I should do... The best way for you to differentiate if it's fear or intuition is in how it's making you feel. Fear always feels like you have to do this or else. It feels like pressure, it feels like tightness, it feels like survival, it feels like, oh my God, my life is gonna fall apart if I don't figure this out right now. That is fear. Intuition is normally very soft. It's very easy to ignore actually, because it's very soft. It doesn't try to speak louder than your fear. It's just gonna be there somewhere in the background, very mellow, very easy to ignore. But the intuition always feels expansive. It feels exciting. It could be an idea that maybe you've never done before, and so it feels a bit scary to try, but the core feeling will be like, oh my gosh, like maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. When you get a mental nudge that feels like it's too good to be true, that's the one. That is your intuition right there. And the reason why it feels too good to be true is because it's coming from the God within you. It's coming from the inner guidance of God. And why does it feel too good to be true? Because God is unlimited. Once you start paying attention to your intuition and maybe you start wanting to take steps to follow your intuition, the old version of you is going to swoop in and cover that with fear. So maybe you'll get an idea to start offering a service, or you'll get an idea to maybe go and do something you've never done before. And then the old self is going to swoop in quickly and be like, no, but you've never done that before. You tried something like that last time and it didn't work. Who do you know in your life that has ever done that? That is not you. Separate yourself from that fear. That is not your fear. That is just an echo from the old version of you. Follow that nudge that feels like it's too good to be true. I know you don't know how all of this is going to work, but the path is going to become clear when you walk it. And then the final step to all of this is embodiment. As always, embodiment. You don't get what you want, you get what you embody, you get what you are being. And this is what Neville Goddard referred to as living from the end. You need to start from what you would prefer to happen and live your life like you already know that it's happened. You know the feeling that you have when you're watching a comfort show, a show that you've watched so many times? The reason why it feels comfortable to watch a show that you've watched before is because you know how it ends. And so even when the plot involves your favorite people dying or things happening that are so disrupting, your emotional response is not going to be that crazy because you already know how it ends. If you already know that this ends in you getting what you want, this ends in you experiencing the freedom that you want, experiencing the love that you're seeking, experiencing the wealth that you've always wanted, then you don't have any business getting caught up in the in-between, because the in-between is just plot. If I already know that I have millions of subscribers, then why would I not post? Of course I'm going to post. Of course I'm going to give my best. Of course I'm going to wear my favorite outfits as I'm posting, even before I get the millions of subscribers, because I already know that it's inevitable for me to get there. And so at the moment, I am going to speak like I already know that. I'm going to act like I already know that. I'm going to move and behave like I already know what the end is. Whatever is happening at the moment, that's not really my concern. And by the way, if you're watching all of this and you're still stuck in a reality that you don't like, I'm opening one-to-one calls where we can map out a personalized step-by-step guide on how to shift your current reality into the reality that you would prefer. All the details are going to be in the description box. Your current reality isn't the problem. Your attachment to it is. The moment you stop worshiping the illusion, you become free to create something new.